Floyd Mayweather has just called out Terence Crawford after that seismic Canelo fight, saying bluntly he'd kill him in his prime, and the boxing world has erupted into a debate that won't end.
You could take a guy like Canelo, this guy could do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab. He used his distance. He had poise in the ring. He wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's part.
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
And contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
The claim is simple and savage. Prime Mayweather versus Prime Crawford. Who really owns the GOAT case? From the moment those words hit social feeds, fighters, pundits, and fans have been lining up on both sides, and the conversation is as furious as it is fascinating. First, let's break down what each man brings to the table. Mayweather in his prime was the ultimate defensive genius. His shoulder roll, his distance management, the way he made the ring disappear for opponents, that was art disguised as defense. He punished mistakes. He bled opponents dry with angles and timing, and he never gave you a moment to breathe.
It's wild because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Oh, yes.
That makes a difference to people.
What's up, people? It's the morning after the big fight. Crawford Canelo. Shout outs to Crawford. You did it, boy. You did it. For those who still aren't quite sure what they witnessed last night, I'm going to let you know that you witnessed what is called a notorious boxing clinic. This is everything done right. Okay? First, he worked behind the jab, people. Boxing 101. Set your shots up behind the jab. Canelo froze up. He was able to minimize the pressure. Step 2, use the ring. Use the ring. Get to the outside. Make Canelo pivot. Make him pivot. Don't let his feet settle. Okay? Pick your spots. This was a notorious hit and don't get hit. That's boxing 101, people. It's actually the definition of boxing. For those who don't know the definition of boxing, it's to hit and not get hit. It's almost like a game of tag, to simplify it for you folks. All right? And yes, Crawford was tagging him. Not just with the jab, moving, but he was able to do another key factor, which is get respect in the ring. He was able to hold his ground in pockets, work the body, go toe-to-toe, and catch him with that speed. Bah! With that speed, the straight left, the little uppercuts and the hooks to the body. Like I said, people, it was a clinic.
His ring IQ was second to none, and his unbeaten record screams consistency under pressure. When people say Prime Mayweather could neutralize power, they mean it. Terence Crawford is a different kind of terror. He is multi-dimensional, fluid, and so comfortable switching stances and styles that he becomes unpredictable. He hits with savage timing. He adjusts mid-fight in ways that feel almost instinctive, and his ability to pick apart elite opponents while staying calm under fire is what makes him elite. After dismantling Canelo in style, Crawford's stock has exploded, and the argument that he is currently the best pound for pound is louder than ever. Now, the clash of opinions. The Mayweather side argues that pure technique and defensive mastery beat raw dynamism. They say Mayweather would survive Crawford's best shots, neutralize his entries, and score a point-by-point clinic until the younger man ran out of answers.
If I take Floyd Mayweather in his absolute prime, and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime,
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd still beats him.
Floyd beat everybody.
You don't believe there's a guy at 140, 147 in the history of boxing that could have beat Floyd in his prime?
I don't know, but it'd be tough. Floyd, man, that boy, man, that's the GOAT, man. That boy bad.
What makes Floyd the best, so unique, something that we have not seen before?
His defense and his instincts. I think Floyd had the best defense in boxing history.
Most people don't know shit about boxing, but Terence Bud Crawford does. Great fight, shutout. Just what I assumed would happen. This boxing smart would beat Canelo's tactics. Like from round 2, I saw Canelo being on the back foot, and eventually Crawford was just dancing around him, doing his thing. So yeah, again, I like Crawford. I just think the way he fights is clean. Like he makes very little mistakes, and he knows the sweet science of boxing. So yeah, he showed why he's the best right now. One of the best in history.
Saw you before the fight, the Crawford Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. GOAT, greatest of all time, man. You got to give it to him. You got to give it to him. You got to give it to his coaches, not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists. Everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
First reaction, of course, it was about size of Crawford. Is it okay for him to move up 2 weight classes? Yeah. But then I saw him in Dubai. He's big and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight. But there is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168 because it's big difference, to be honest. But he's able. He has good skills. He's awkward. He can use 2 boxing stand.
With Crawford going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia. It's even. I think it'd be a 50-50 fight if Crawford fought Canelo.
The Crawford side counters that today's fighters are bigger, sharper, and that Crawford's adaptability and power would present problems Mayweather never faced. They argue Crawford can change range, pressure intelligently, and find openings where other fighters haven't. The debate isn't just about styles, it's generational. Mayweather polished an era where defensive brilliance and ring generalship were king. Crawford is the avatar of modern versatility, pressure plus counterpunching, plus the ability to finish. Fans argue back and forth over cardio, over the meaning of prime, over whether an undefeated defensive wizard can be cracked by a boxing chameleon who can hit from every angle. Beyond the hypotheticals, let's be clear about what's next for Crawford. After that massive win over Canelo, the doors are wide open. Legacy fights, super fights, and even crossover spectacles will be on his table.
That's incredible. You look down the resume, and this guy has stepped up and fought everyone and anyone. I don't want to hear any David Benavidez talk. That's the only one where I can say, oh, he kind of ducked Benavidez. But aside from that, he's taken on all comers. I don't know what else there is left to achieve. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, right? Like achievements, targets. I don't know what is left to achieve. Like when you set out as a boxer, I guess, if you're good, then I guess you're hoping to become a world champion. If you're good. And you're hoping if I become a world champion, I make some good money. I mean, I read out how many times he's been a world champion, and I read out how much money I think he's made. So he's ticked all the boxes. Like every single box has been ticked. But there will be this itch that he has. And I've been around Canelo a few times. And that boy is intense sometimes. Sometimes he's chill, but sometimes he's intense. And he isn't going to want to go out like that. Yes, he didn't get splattered on the canvas, but he got comprehensively beaten. And I feel like there will still be a few more Canelo fights to right that wrong. Now, I don't know if he tries to right the wrong against Crawford. I don't know if there was a rematch clause in that fight. I guess there probably would have been. I mean, if you are undisputed at 168 pounds, I think you'd be stupid not to put a rematch clause in there. So look, he might go back to the drawing board, go back to his camp and say, can we beat Crawford? Like have an honest conversation with Eddie Reynoso and the other trainers in that camp and say, can we beat him? And if we can, where did we go wrong? Can we fix it in time to get in the ring with him again in 7 or 8 months? And if Eddie says no, then there has to be a real conversation of, okay, what's the point then?
Rematches, unifications, fights against elite names across weight classes, all are valid and tempting. Crawford's team will likely map a path that maximizes legacy while keeping high-risk, high-reward matchups in view. For boxing's narrative, this is a golden era moment. A new top dog has made his statement, and the sport is hungry to see who will step up next. And what about Mayweather's bold words? Whether you take them as bravado, promotional chess, or a genuine throwdown, they do one thing extremely well. They light a fire under the debate and force boxing fans to pick sides. It's a reminder that GOAT conversations are always subjective, messy, and glorious. Will Prime Mayweather beat Prime Crawford? Some say yes without hesitation. Others point to Crawford's modern toolkit and say no way. The only certainty is that both men sit at the top of boxing's conversation now, and both legacies burn brighter for it. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a renewed obsession over stylistic matchups, legacy-making choices, and the idea that in boxing there are no absolute answers, only thrilling debates. Terence Crawford is riding supernatural momentum, and the world wants to see him tested further. Floyd Mayweather's provocation has given fans a narrative to rally around, a showdown of eras, technique versus versatility, defense versus adaptive offense. The boxing world will argue this for years, and that's exactly what makes the sport so electric right now.